shoot. Okay. We're going to post that link instead. Hey, scribes. Get in here, get in here, get in here. What's going on, scribes? It's your girl, Tiaya Smart Young, editor. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Cordell. It's your girl, Tiaya Smart Young, editor, book coach, and self-publishing consultant. And this is Q&A Wednesday. So if you have a question, writing, publishing, editing question that you want me to answer live, definitely do me a favor. After this live, or if you're watching the replay, scroll up and tap the link in bio that says Q&A Wednesday, and I will answer your writing and publishing question. Now, in the comments, I dropped a link for you to pre-order my new book, which is called Step Into Your Story, Position Your Expertise, Propel Your Brand, and Prepare for Visibility by Writing a Best-Selling Book. And everybody who pre-orders, like if you pre-ordered before because you're on my email list, or maybe you saw it when I posted before on social media, definitely you are eligible as well. So everyone who pre-orders the book, no matter if you did it before or you're doing it now, you get access to a private training with me, something that people would normally pay for, right? So definitely go ahead, hit the link and pre-order. All right, so today's question comes from a health coach who asked, do you have any tips for self-editing before I send my book to my editor? Of course I have tips. Come on now. I wouldn't be T if I didn't have the tips. So first of all, thank you for your question. And if you have any questions about self-editing, definitely do me a favor and drop it in the in the box over here, the one that has a little question mark in it. Yes, definitely give me the hearts and love. I appreciate that. That lets me know that you are there and paying attention. So definitely drop your self-editing questions in the box as well, and I'll get to them at the end. All right, so I like for you to learn the information and then for you to go and take the action step afterward. So I like bite-sized information, because sometimes when people give you too much, you're not able to execute, right? It's like, wait a minute, I'm drinking from a fire hose. I can't do all of these things. So I like to share like 3 to 5 tips. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips. But first, what I want you to understand is that self-editing is not you editing your book and then we send it to the printer, the formatter, and we're done. No, that's not what this is. What you're doing is cleaning up your manuscript and getting it in the best possible shape. That first, second, third draft, whatever draft you're on, you're getting it in the best possible shape to now share it with your editor, who's going to go off and do the thing and make it even better, right? Make that thing sing. So just remember, it's like this. A brain surgeon, if the brain surgeon needs brain surgery, the brain surgeon is not going to do the surgery on herself, right? She's going to have somebody else do the surgery. Same concept here. You as the author, you are not the author and the editor. You are the author. But you do need to self-edit, because like when I get manuscripts that are sent to me that are really sloppy, you guys didn't bother to spell check. You guys didn't bother to make sure that the subject and the verbs were agreeing and happy. Like that makes me frustrated and angry. So we're going to start with the basics, okay? I got 5 tips for you. So first of all, when you're self-editing, do yourself a favor. This is a basic tip, right? Start with the font and size. So don't send your editor a manuscript and the font is like Pacifico or Lobster or something crazy like that. Those fonts are for design, and they're meant to be like an element that you splash here and there. They're not meant to be what you read in your text, right? For like pages and pages of text. That's not what it's not good for readability. So play it safe and just convert your text to Times New Roman or even Georgia. I know it sounds boring, but readability is a thing, okay? All right, so second thing I want you to do outside of the font, I want you to take care of the font size. Don't try to do these tricks where you're now sending your editor the book and the book is in 17-point font. Remember we tried that in high school? We did that in high school. We were like, oh, we got an assignment that's 5 pages and we're going to try to switch the font size so that it's really big and make it look like we did 5 pages when in fact we did 2 pages. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to behave and put it at 12 points, right? And be professional. Okay. So thank you for the hearts. I love you guys. All right. So Tip number 2, I want you to rewrite some of those long sentences. And the way that you're going to know that your sentences are just way too long is to read that thing aloud. Yes, we're going to take the page, we're going to sit, and we're going to read it aloud. And you know why you're going to do that? Because you're going to hear if your sentences are clunky. You're going to hear if your sentences are run on. And sometimes those sentences that are really long can be 2 sentences, can be 3 sentences. And they shouldn't all your sentences shouldn't be the same length anyway. It should definitely, your text should be broken up, because it'll be boring if all of your sentences are the same cadence and the same flow. So do yourself a favor. Use your periods, use your colons, use your semicolons, right? Use your I love bullets, okay? I love me a list. Like, let's throw a list in there and let's tell people what to do. Boom, boom, boom. All right, even dialogue, right? And some people forget that dialogue is also crucial for nonfiction books. Like, I know people like focus on dialogue when it comes to fiction, but when you're writing your nonfiction book, right, you can have you can drop in a conversation that you had with your boss, with your child, with your fertility specialist, with your with your grandmother, whoever, and it gives us insight into who that person is based on how they were talking to you and based on how you were talking to them, right? So break up those sentences. You said you don't want T.I. to be mad. Exactly. That does make me mad. All right. So tip number 3. So some of us have words and phrases that we use and we overuse, right? And you don't realize that you're overusing certain words until, what do? Take the paper, read it aloud, right? And so when you read it aloud, what happens is you hear the words that you're saying all the time. So for me, I have a confession. My word used to be shenanigans. Every story I used to write, I used to put the word shenanigans in it. And so I had to like start catching myself, because I'm like, T, you are overusing this word. So what I want you to do is to do, if you have a word like shenanigans, or there's a word that you always use, let's say the word is respect, and you know that you use respect all the time, go do yourself a favor, use the find word function. Oh, okay, Jean. I mean, that's when conversation I use shenanigans. I don't use it in writing anymore. Okay, thank you. Don't be calling me out on my own live. So you're going to go to the find function, right? Find word function. You're going to put the word in there, respect, and then you're going to look and see how many times you've used respect. So if you've used respect 150 times in your manuscripts, then you know that 149 of those got to go, right? All right, good. I hope you're following along. Let me know if you're following along. Drop a 1 in the chat if you are following along. And guess what? If you don't delete the 150 times that you use the word respect, your editor will absolutely do that for you. I will happily take it out. All right. I also want you to remove, tip number 4 is to remove useless words, right? And when I say useless, I'm talking about really, very, literally, and that, right? A lot of times these words, they are nothing burgers in your sentence. Nothing's happening. These words, like half the time, if you take out very, really, and not even half, I'm going to venture and say all of the time, when you take out very, really, literally, guess what? Your sentence does not change if you take those words out. And like, good one, Savage Genius. Like, I was quick moment. On Love is Blind this season, Micah used like so much. It was irritating to listen to the conversation. Okay. So I know if she does that in her speech, I'm wondering if she does that in her writing. Hopefully she doesn't. But anyway, those are words. Thank you for reminding me about like, Jean, that those are words that take up space in your sentence, and they really just, they don't do anything. That your sentence will be so much stronger if you take those words out. And then here's my favorite that people use and overuse. They use just all the time, just. And when you use the word just, it just diminishes the power and the intention of the statement. You wouldn't say, I'm just a heart surgeon. I'm just a content strategist. I'm just a Pulitzer Prize winner. I'm just a New York Times bestseller. Like, you wouldn't say just, right? So let's go ahead, get the black dress and get the black suit, and let's just bury just because it's had a good run. Okay? All right. Like Biggie said, it's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing for the word just. What's up, Keish? All right. So we are at tip number 5. And here's the thing. When you're writing your manuscript, your book, I know you guys don't think about this, but we got to see the paragraphs. Like, no one wants to read endless text on a page. And maybe this comes from my magazine days, but I love me a subhead. I love me a graph. I love me an image. I love things that break up endless text on the page. Throw me a catchy subhead. Let's say you are a minister, but you used to be a bank robber back in the day. Hello, that is a catchy subhead. Throw it in there so my eye can go, do, 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 do. Oh, wait a minute. You used to rob banks, right? Like, you're going to be attracted to that. Oh, your word is nemesis. Yes, see? The fact that you already identified that, Miss Gibson, NYC, you already know. You already know. All right. So a catchy subhead, it brings your attention to what the next thing is that you're going to read, and it breaks up all of that text, right? So same thing goes for, you can use lists. Same thing goes for if you have graphs, right? And I'm not saying to OD and like all of a sudden drop in a graph where there should not be a graph. What I'm saying is that when you have the opportunity to break up the text, even to make your paragraphs shorter, because have you ever taken a book and like the entire page is nothing but text? Not nothing but text, nothing but one, it looks like one paragraph, like nobody said, oh, okay, we need to make 7 paragraphs in here, just for readability's sake, like, and make your reader enjoy the experience of having your book. All right, so I want to leave you with a little bonus for self-editing, right? So, and if you have any questions, definitely drop the questions in the little box that looks like a question with the question mark. All right. So one of the biggest things that I want you to understand during the self-editing process is that 10 to 15 and even 20%, depending on how you write, it's going to end up on the editing room floor. It's going to end up on the editing room floor. And this is just part of the process. So I don't want you to get in your feels about it. I don't want you to fall in love with your words. I want you to understand that those clunky sentences, if you're struggling to read them, when it gets sent to me or when it gets sent to your editor or even your beta readers, that person is going to be like, yeah, you didn't take the time to cut this, right? Because sentences are clunky. You got run-on sentences and you have redundant information. That's always the biggest thing I find that a lot of newbie writers struggle with when they are sharing their books. Like, you've said it already. Like, you've said it 12 times. I get it. So now I gotta cut. How many times I gotta cut? I gotta cut 11 times that you said it, because we get it. We got it the first time, right? So redundant information has to go. Wordy sentences, they gotta be cut down, right? And even weak sentences, weak or confusing sentences, they have to be eliminated altogether. I'm not about to let a weak or confusing sentence rock. We're here to, as editors. What's up, Nate Boogie? We are here as editors to make your words, your copy, your book stronger, right? So, and trust me, if your editor is not trying to make it stronger, then I question your editor. Okay, I said what I said. All right, let me see if there are any questions here before we get out of here. Let me know if you have any questions about self-editing, about anything that I've said in terms of the tips. Let me do a quick refresh of what those tips are for people who just joined. So, tip number 1 for the people who just joined, we're going to make sure that our font size is appropriate, 12 point. We're going to make sure that our font is appropriate. Times New Roman or Georgia, keep it basic. Don't try to slide in there with some Pacifico or some crazy like script font. Nobody's reading that for 150 pages. It's not gonna work. You're gonna rewrite those long sentences, right? And you're gonna especially read your manuscript aloud so you can find out where the long and clunky sentences are. Tip number 3. So that was 1 and 2. Tip number 3, you're going to find the words that you overuse. And Ms. Gibson NYC said her word is nemesis. So if I was her editor and I was looking at her book and I saw nemesis 150 times, what happens? 149 get cut, right? All right, so following along. Tip number 4, remove useless words. What am I talking about? Really, very, that, like, literally, those kinds of words. They don't help. They make your prose weaker. And don't forget, we're also just as in that category as well, because we would not say I'm just a heart surgeon, right? I'm a heart surgeon. I'm a whole heart surgeon. I'm an engineer. It's not I'm just an engineer, right? We're not playing it down. And number 5, do not have just endless chunks of text on the page. Break it up. We need to see the paragraphs. Like throw a bulleted list in there, a numbered list, a graph, a chart as appropriate. Don't go overboard, and definitely use some subheads. And your bonus is to remember that 10 to 15% or 20%, if you fall in love with your words, a lot of that stuff is going to end up on the cutting room floor. It is just part of the process. So let me just scroll real quick, see if there's any questions. Hey, Robert. Hey, Trey. All right. So before I run, let me remind you that if you have a question, a writing, an editing, a self-publishing question that specifically pertains to nonfiction, right? Do yourself a favor, if you're watching live or even the replay, scroll up to my link in bio and hit the Q&A Wednesday option, and you can leave a question there for me. You can leave it on video, you can leave it on text message, or you can leave it audio, and I will answer it here for you live. And definitely do me a favor. Did I pin that? Did I forget to pin the link? Okay, wait. Nope, it's there. It's pinned. Okay, perfect. So in the comment section, I pinned the link to my book, and everyone who pre-orders, this is the pre-order link, everyone who pre-orders is eligible for a private training with me, a free private training. This is the training that people normally pay me hundreds and possibly thousands of dollars for, right? So I want you in there for free. So make sure you tap the link and you get the book. And there's also, if you're interested, there's also a marketing workbook that comes along with the book. So you can get all of that good. You can tap the link here for the book, or even scroll up and same in my bio, the link to order the book is the first link. Let me just make sure you guys are good in terms of questions. And then she's out. She's out of here. All right, I don't have any questions from you guys. It was good seeing you, good talking to you. Take care. I'll see you next time on Q&A Wednesday.